I've had the Larq PureVis for over a year. Let's see how it's holding up. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel, and thanks for stopping by. Hey, today we're going to be taking another look at the Larq PureVis water bottle that I have had for well over a year now. I purchased this through Kickstarter when it first came out. I did a full review on this bottle. If you want to see what features this has, you can take a look up in the corner. I'll post a link to that. In today's video, I'm not going to go into all of the details of the bottle, so check out that other video if you want to see that. Rather, I'm going to give you my kind of like my long-term impressions, how it's worked for me, how I've used it, and what I still think about it a year later. All right, first let's look at how I've used the bottle over this past year. I've used it more situationally, meaning a couple of times a week, on weekends, on trips. When I was a teacher and teaching in a middle school, I had a water bottle with me every day, and so I carried a water bottle with me to work, you know, for water that I was going to drink throughout the day and as well as my lunch. I'm not in that situation anymore, and so I use this maybe a couple of times a week when I do part-time teaching at the high school, and if I have events on the weekend, I'll take this out with me. Or what I've found this really to be helpful on is when I'm traveling, and I've taken a lot more trips this year, and this bottle has come with me every single time. So that's important to keep in mind, because I don't use this every single day, and maybe that's why it still looks brand new. Let's talk about the tech of the bottle and how that's held up so far. Now, the unique thing about this PureVis is that it has a UV light built into the cap, which cleans and disinfects your bottle. It I don't know, shoots UV light into the bottle itself, and it cleans out bacteria. I have not had any problems with this whatsoever. You charge it via USB-C. It's lasted for quite a long time. Like, I can't even tell you how long it's lasted, because I only use this situationally. It's probably lasted me well over a month or so before I have to recharge it again. You do have an app that you can go into, and it shows you the percentage of the battery, and it kind of reminds you when it needs to be charged. But as far as the technology of the bottle goes, this thing has been working flawlessly. I have not had any problems with it so far. Another feature of the bottle is that it has the ability to track your water usage throughout the day. You'll see a white light that lights up around the ring, and basically what that does is, if your bottle needs to be like on a flat surface, the light comes on, and then it measures how much water is left in the bottle, and that tells the app how much water you've drank. And so if you're into that, if you want to see how much water you've taken in throughout the course of a day or a week, then the app is good for you. Honestly, I haven't even used it, and this bottle has not made me want to drink more water. I know that's a feature that it likes to pride itself on, is that, you know, you have this ability to track your hydration and all that kind of stuff, but honestly, I haven't even used it. So it works though. I can tell you that it does work. It shows you, you know, by day, you know, it shows you a graph of how much you've drank, and you're going to see mine, and they're terrible because I don't drink a ton of water out of this thing, because I don't use it every single day. But it does have that ability, and it's worked fine so far. Now, you do have to connect the bottle to your app via Bluetooth, and that's how it knows the level of your hydration. It also lets you know the status of your battery. I have not had any problems with that. However, I do have a Larq pitcher that also does the same thing. And for whatever reason, I had issues with that Larq pitcher, but I've never had any issues with the bottle. Now let's talk about the filter that comes with this bottle, because that is another cool feature that this thing has, in addition to the UV light. So what you can do is, inside of the bottle itself, you'll see a straw, and this straw is able to be removed, and that's how you clean it. And that's how you also get to the filter itself. You just kind of unscrew this thing, and then you'll see that's the filter. And that's how easy it is to just put it in and take it out and to replace it. They run about $30 I think, for $3 for the regular essential one. And then they have an advanced filter if you have more contaminants in your water that you want to filter out. That is $40 for $3. So you can kind of decide which one, and they have on their website, they'll show you like differences between the two. I think I've just used just the regular essential one. I haven't really paid for the more advanced one. They do have a subscription service which you can sign up for that gives you a discount, and I've kind of done that so that it just kind of sends me filters regularly. They do recommend that you change these filters every 2 months. I've found though that I've used it much longer than that. So kind of like where they recommend you clean your bottle regularly, I haven't. I still try to wash it whenever I change the filter, and that's kind of bad if that's only 2 months. But I do also try to wash the cap and wash the straw a little bit more frequently. I have not had any problems with the bottle being stink or with there being some sort of a weird smell, you know, that you get sometimes with water bottles. Maybe that's due to the UV. I don't know, but the filters have been holding up really well. They're super easy to replace. You can get them mailed to you, and I probably spent maybe only $30 to $60 on filters, which, by the way, I think is a genius thing for Larq to set up for themselves as a business, because not only do they get you by selling you the bottle, but they get you by selling you the filters. Now, you don't have to use a filter. You can actually take this straw out and not even use it and just sip it. You can also just take out the filter and then not even use a filter. So you don't have to subscribe to that model if you don't. But if you're gonna buy this bottle and you're gonna spend as much money as this bottle costs, to me, you gotta use the filter. I mean, that's one of the reasons why you want to buy this bottle, is because of that filter. So they're not expensive, they're easy to replace, and they've held up really well. And my water has tasted just as good now, a year later, as it has when I first started. Next, let's talk about the durability. As you can see, this bottle is pristine. And while I only use it a couple times a week, I take really good care of this bottle. I've had bottles in the past that have fallen off of my truck when I was leaving for work. I left it on the back by my bed. I've dropped bottles on my way into work as I'm walking. This one I've really babied, and more so because, of course, it's the most expensive water bottle I've ever purchased. But it also has this top that has a light in it, and I just feel like if I'm not careful and I drop it, I might damage the light, and then I'm gonna have to buy another cap. And so I've really taken good care of this as much as possible. I'm always, carrying it, by the handle, or I got it in my arms, or I have it in my backpack. And so it's held up really well. And then the ice that you can hear in here, like I put this in yesterday. And on my way, right before I went to the high school to do my part-time teaching there, and you can kind of hear, like, the ice is still pretty large in the bottle. Everything keeps cold for probably at least 2 days. I've taken this on trips where I've filled ice into my bottle, and that's a tip for all of you that are traveling. You can put ice in a bottle and send it through TSA. You can't fill it with water until you get past TSA. But what I always do is I just fill this thing as much as possible, cap it, stick it in my bag, go through TSA, and then when I'm on the other side, then I find a water bottle station, or I'll buy a water bottle for $5 and then use it here. Honestly, if you use the station with the filter and everything, you're good. But that's if you want to be extra. You can always buy a $5 water bottle at the airport. Another thing that I have noticed with this bottle, and I'm not sure how it happens, but when I have this in my backpack, somehow the handle pops. I'll notice that the handle comes off, and I don't know how it does it. I mean, it does have a removable handle, so basically all you do is you just kind of push forward on the handle itself, and then it comes out. I've noticed, for whatever reason, when I've been traveling, and this has been in my backpack, like this thing here, let me get that there. has been loose like that, and then I have to go and just kind of pull it to lock it. So I'm not sure why that happens, but that's pretty much the only thing that I've noticed with this bottle. It keeps the water really, really cold for a really long time. I've had no issues with the light or the app tracking. This thing has held up really, really well. But again, I also baby it. One more thing I want to talk about as far as the durability of the bottle is the cap itself. This thing has not leaked at all. It's been solid on every travel adventure I've been on. Even when I've taken it on a plane and you have that altitude change, I did have an embarrassing moment on the plane once in which I grabbed the bottle out of my front seat pocket, opened it up to take a sip, and all the water just shot out all over my lap. So it held up even in that altitude change. It hasn't leaked. I've had a water bottle once on a plane that leaked when I had it in the overhead compartment, and it leaked over everyone else's things, including mine, and that was really embarrassing. But this bottle has been solid. This cap has not leaked. I have not had any issues with it. Thumbs up all the way around. Next, let's talk about what surprised me with this bottle. You know, anytime you have technology in a water bottle that gets used all the time, that gets dropped, you bring it to different places, you always worry about the technology failing, right? And I think that's what I've been surprised the most about, is that this thing has not failed in over the year that I've used it. And yes, you could say that I don't use it on the daily, and that's true, but I've not had any problems with the app or with the UV lights or charging it or any of that stuff. And that's kind of surprised me. I was expecting to maybe have some issues with this along the way, and it hasn't. So that's been really, really pleasantly surprising. One thing that I'm also surprised about is that, you know, this bottle builds itself as like, you know, it has the app that lets you track your hydration. It will encourage you to drink more. None of that worked for me. I could care less, honestly, how much I'm drinking per day. And I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I don't use the app at all. I rarely open it up. I only check it to when I want to see like what the status of the battery is, or if I want to see how much life I have left in the filter. That's the only thing that I really use the app for. So they bill it, you know, it's a marketing thing from Larq. They you know, it's one of the only bottles that I know of that will help you, you know, monitor how much water you drink. And it works. Like, you'll notice, like, every now and then, you know, when I have this bottle laying flat, a white light will light up. If you're in a hotel room that's dark, it kind of makes the room a little bright. But what it's doing at that time is it's measuring how much water is left in the bottle. And I honestly haven't used that at all. And I guess maybe that's surprising me, because I thought, you know, when you get all these marketing materials, you're like, oh yeah, that's great. I can drink more water. And it really hasn't made me drink more water at all. All right, next let's talk about where this bottle has helped me the most. And I think if you are somebody out there who is traveling for a living, or you do a lot of traveling for whatever reason, right? You are always trying to stay hydrated on the plane, in your hotel room, when you're on the road. Like, you want to stay hydrated, and you want to have water that tastes good, and you want to avoid paying the $5 fee that you do if you have to buy a water bottle at the airport. And so to me, this is where I get the most use out of this, is when I travel. I bring this every single time that I travel. It is a little bit bigger of a bottle, so it does, you know, weigh a little bit more. But when I load this up with ice at the beginning of my trip, and if I'm there only for a weekend, I can have cold water for pretty much the whole entire weekend and not really need to go and get more ice at the hotel. And let's be honest, who knows how clean ice in a hotel is? I mean, we all use the ice maker, and we use that, we put that in our drinks, we might use that in our water bottle, we might use it to just chill bottles, but I've always used the ice in my drinks. It looks clean. I have no idea if it's clean or not, But if I put it in this bottle, I know that by the time I drink it, it will be clean. So I don't know. If you're a traveler and you just want to have that added, peace of mind, I guess is what it is, then this bottle is a godsend. And for me, that's how it's helped me the most. It's just been able to, keep me hydrated. I can have water that tastes good throughout my entire trip. Now, has this bottle fallen short in any way? And I think I've kind of already mentioned that with the app. I don't really use the app. The only other thing that I kind of have an issue with this bottle is that whenever you change the filter that's inside of the straw, what'll happen is you'll have to reset the app, okay? It doesn't know it automatically that you switched out the filter, so you have to go and reset it. And when you reset it, for whatever reason, it starts off at 99%. And I don't know, that's 1% away from 100, but it still bugs me that as soon as I put the filter in the straw and I reset it on the app, it's already showing me 99%. I haven't even used it. I've put water in it, like that. One of the things you have to do for any water filters, you got to run water through it. I don't know, maybe it thinks that that's why it's at 1%. I don't know. That's the only thing that bugs me. And that's it. Out of the whole bottle experience of this PureVis 2, that is the only thing that has bugged me. This thing has been solid all the way through. All right, final thoughts on using the Larq PureVis 2 for over a year. This bottle has been fantastic. It is my favorite bottle to use. It's the only bottle I've used since buying this over a year ago. I love all of the features with it. They have worked really well, with the exception of the hydration tracking. And again, that's just because I don't use it. It's not because it doesn't work. It's just that I just haven't found that to be something that is useful for my needs. But everything else I've been super happy with. This bottle comes with me on every trip. And I think you'll like it. If you're out there and you travel a lot and you're worried about, how clean your water is, maybe you're in a part of the world that doesn't have clean water all the time, this is a great bottle to have. And it's going to stay with me as long as I can keep this thing alive. All right, one other thing I wanted to mention is that I really only think this bottle should be used for cold water. You can use hot water, although it may fog up the sensor that's in here that lets you know how much water is still left in the bottle. And it says that up on their website. But I don't know. I would not put anything else. I would not put iced tea or coffee or sodas or any of that stuff in it. Just simply because you have this UV light that's meant to kill bacteria that's in water. Now, how that affects other drinks, I don't know. Plus the fact that you have electronics in this thing, and I don't know. I just feel like this is a bottle that is best suited for water and cold water. I wouldn't put anything else in it, but that's my opinion. I'm sure you can still use hot water, but I would not suggest putting other types of liquids in it. And that's just my opinion. One last thing I wanted to share before I get out of here is that Larq has not sponsored this video in any way. They are not controlling anything that I say. These opinions are mine. I purchased the bottle with my own money through their Kickstarter. The only connection I have through them is an affiliate link. So if you'd like to purchase this bottle on your own, if you use one of the links below that supports the channel, that's it. And hey, if you stuck around this long, hopefully it was valuable to you. And if it was, consider hitting that like button and possibly subscribing if this is the kind of content that you're interested in. And hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Until then, hey, take care of one another, be safe, and aloha.